There is a lot of magic, there's a lot of great character development, there's romance, there's happiness, there's climax, there's unexpected twists, there's philosophy, realism, there's medievalism, there's grittiness, there's violence, there's everything. It's a really great book. The Devils, that's the reason you clicked on it, because it's about Joe Abercrombie, that guy, Joe. I didn't know he was him. I actually just found out about this guy. I just learned that he was cool. I've been sleeping on him and I just hit myself in the head with this wand. And two, that The Devils is really good. You should start reading that book. If you haven't, give it a shot. I thought I was getting into a fantasy book that was not a trilogy. Turns out it's a 3-book deal. I mean, not that it really matters to me, not a big deal, because they're not going to be like a trilogy, if you would. They're going to be set in the same world, but they're not going to be the same story. So The Devils is a witty, funny, heisty satire, right? That's pretty much the 4 words I would use to describe that bad boy. It's a great book. I listened to it on Audible. Don't hate me. I know Audible's like cursed now or something, but regardless, I listened to it on there, and at first I hated it because the narrator, his voice of Brother Diaz, was like unbearable, but I got into it. I figured it out. I fought through it. It's heisty in the sense that it's going to give you that similar feel of, hey, we got a gang of people and we're going to work together and we're going to make something happen and we're on a journey and we're going to do this task that seems untaskable, which is essentially bringing this little street rat urchin girl to fulfill her destiny. That's what we're going to do, right? So I'm going to tell you the little ragtag crew that we have together here. It's almost like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen-esque feel. That's what I got as soon as I stepped into this book. And I was like, okay, that's great. I like it. But it's like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen meets medieval era meets high character driven story, right? Because I mean, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is kind of like a B movie. And this is not, I mean, when I write my books and stuff like that, I'm thinking like kind of like school grades because I was like a little nerd when I was a kid. So I'm thinking like, is this book an A? And that seems cruel to say it's not an A, honestly. We'll have to come to that rating when we get to the end. Regardless, it's very character driven. It is about feeling, it's about emotion. The elves are evil. Let's get into that, right? Okay, so those first 3 things right there. I never read one of his books before. I never realized like he is so good at writing personal conversations. The conversations between you and me, he overheard them. He has a little fly on the wall somewhere and he's listening to us because he's able to provide you such realism and such actual interaction when you're talking to these people that it doesn't feel like some weird scripted thing. No offense to Brandon Sanderson at all. I'm just referencing him because he's very popular and I just got done reading Mistborn and that was like 8 books. So it's fresh in my mind still. But then I also just read Slaughterhouse-Five, which is totally different, and he has a whole different feel, which is nowhere near Abercrombie, but it's actually a little bit closer than Sanderson is. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that Joe Abercrombie is a master at human conversations, and I really like that. And I think the way that he is able to make it feel like I was there listening to these conversations, these are real people having real things, and they might be dramatized to some degree, but that's okay because I'm reading a story and it needs to be interesting, and you're having me read the dialogue between 2 girls, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm putting myself in that mindset. And I think that's really what literature is about, right? To put yourself in someone else's shoes. That's the whole goal. Let's get back to the story. We have Brother Diaz, the first person you're not interested in, actually, I should say, because he's rather boring. But regardless, he's just a little priest. The voice in Audible made it seem like he was really old, but I think that the pictures that I saw of him in the hardcover book that I saw at the book fair when I was walking around this weekly book fair that's in my area, and I almost bought it, but then my baby was crying, so I had to leave. Regardless, shout out to those people. I'm going to try to find their little business card and put it on the screen because they are super cool. Go ahead and check them out because they're really cool and they do pop-up shops, and I think you should support small businesses. I'm going to do a whole tour of bookstores and I will definitely be going there. What I'm getting at is Brother Diaz seemed rather boring. You're going to find out more about him throughout the story, but he definitely seems boring at the beginning, and you're kind of a lull those first few couple chapters because you're trying to like get through his whole little situation. He's basically like Nacho Libre, but he gets promoted. We get to our other people in the crew, and we're going to find out, hey, we have an elf in our crew, and elves are evil in this world, which is like the opposite. Normally, it's usually like angelic little beings. Then we have a knight who can't die. We have the most interesting woman in Europe. We have a necromancer, third best in Europe. And then we also have a vampire and we have a werewolf. And then the street rat girl that gets her glory thrust upon her, right? Some people are born great, some people achieve greatness, and others have it thrust upon them. She has it thrusted upon her. We get into the story, lots of turmoil, lots of crazy things happen to them, really cool fantasy sequences. And this is a world that's all about soft magic, right? It's to the imagination. It's like for you to interpret, right? And he's using tropes that you kind of already know, but he's subverting certain things and their characters, right? So it's not just that you're going to be like, oh, everything's not what I expect because you get what you expect from a vampire, you get what you expect from a werewolf, you get what you expect from a knight, and even from an elf, you kind of get what you get from an elf. You'd expect that, but they're just perceived not the same way. Like the world doesn't like them the same way. So it's kind of subverting your expectations in ways that are still able to help you understand the story, because he doesn't have to provide so much world building, so much hard rules and concepts and tables and maps. He even says that himself, that maps aren't for the imagination, right? Like let your imagination decide how you get there. And I think that's a great concept, because in this, it's all about the story. It's not about the world. And what he's doing is he's using things that are already around and tropes that already exist, so he doesn't have to waste time explaining things that are really abstract and out of this world and hard for you to understand. He's providing concepts that you already know about, so it makes it easier for you to just kind of jump right in and understand what's happening. Great concept. I love it. In that same tone, he uses like a semi-realistic European world so that it makes it easier for you to understand where they're going to. Like the setting is even real, so it's kind of provides a context. That's really cool. So we can spend more time letting you understand the characters, letting you understand their relationships, letting you understand how they interact with one another, and how it feels to be a person in this world, and how it feels to be human, right? Because there's a lot of actually banger lines in this book, and I'm going to try my best to find some of those and put those on the screen. But some of the stuff he says is just, it's hot fire, especially the knight, the vampire, the elf. They all have banger lines. Although my favorite character was Viga, the werewolf, not because of the obvious reasons. I just think that her character is just so tragic, and I like her the most. Something cool about this book, also, I don't know if it's cool, it might be weird, that it had a movie deal, I think, before it even released. A small director named James Cameron, he did a couple movies, Avatar or something like that. He's going to make this movie, so that'll be cool. Give him a chance to blow up and have a chance to really prove himself on the movie scene. But it's cool that Devil's got a movie deal already, so good for you, Joe Abercrombie. Good for you. I'm not going to give you a lot about this story, because it's great. You're going to read it yourself. You're going to find out a lot about it. I already gave you enough to get you enticed, in my opinion. But supposedly this next story is not like a continuation of this story. It is actually just going to be set in the same world, but it has some different characters, maybe some similar characters. Supposedly there's a talking cat in the next one. So I'm excited. I really do want to see what happens next in the next one. I'm going to definitely read that, but I'm happy they're kind of also like standalone books. I'm not on a cliffhanger. I'm not sitting here waiting for something. Anyways, thanks for watching. Oh, the next thing I'm going to read by him is going to be called The Blade Itself. I heard that trilogy is insane. If you have any things you want to let me know about that trilogy, let me know in the comments below. I'm excited to get started on this with you guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I don't have this book, so I'm going to use a wand. I'm going to role play as Daniel Green and use this as my prop for this video, right? So you're going to be entertained with this bad boy. Take a look. He's a beaut, I know. I believe this is Albus Dumbledore's wand. Lovely replica.